national title, whereas the New York Greek American Atlas team, more experienced team. Generally, their average age is considerably older, and we have many ex-professionals in their lineup, so it's going to be experience against youth.
Well, speaking of this Greek American Atlas team, this is a team of considerable tradition in this very tournament. They have won it on 4 previous occasions in the past, and today are striving to become one of the few teams ever to win this event 5 times in the history of this illustrious tournament. So, some history certainly going for the New York Greek American Atlas team heading into this one. One more comment about the weather here, Ty. It is very hot, it is very muggy, and it figures to impact more greatly, I would think, on the New York Greek American Atlas team.
It will be an important factor. Which team, for instance, has trained the most in this type of conditions. The Florida team, more than likely, is used to the heat. They are the younger team, whereas a little bit of experience will help you pace yourself and know how to make the ball do some of the work. So an interesting matchup.
Well, you saw it 103 right now, and we are just about set for action. We'll be back with more from the St. Louis Soccer Park. Our game coming up right after this.
It's just a pure and natural being for you. So icy cold, so crisp, so clear for you. The king of beer, so fresh, so true for you. You got the taste, this bud's for you.
My guest today is Miss Chiquita. Welcome, Chiquita. How does it feel to be one of the world's most influential women?
You embarrass me, Rona. All I've tried to do is set a high standard for bananas.
Has growing the world's finest bananas affected your private life?
Bananas are my life, Rona.
Tell me, you look fabulous. It's on record that you're close to 50. What's your secret?
Lots of potassium.
Thanks a bunch, Chiquita.
Chiquita, the First Lady of Fruit.
Robert Stack. I'm proud to know Ronald Reagan as a friend and as a great president. I would like you to join me in commemorating 8 years of the Ronald Reagan presidency. Now you can have this commemorative medallion, a permanent tribute to the Ronald Reagan era of American history at the official issue price of $10. His genuine affection for our country and her people has made Ronald Reagan one of the most popular and best-loved presidents. This medallion has been engraved in exacting detail, is precision minted in solid pewter. It's the size of a silver dollar and is layered in 24-karat gold and offered for a limited time. It's a lasting tribute to this great leader and a way to preserve this period of American history for yourself and your children.
Order your Ronald Reagan commemorative medallions today for yourself or as a gift. This valuable collector's issue is sure to be treasured for years to come. Pay the $10 issue price plus $2 each for delivery. There is a limit of 3 medallions per order. Call this toll-free number now.
Welcome back to the St. Louis Soccer Park in St. Louis, Missouri. The U.S. Senior National Championship between St. Petersburg and New York now underway. I'm Randy Hahn, back with you along with Ty Keogh. Glad you could join us on this warm, in fact, hot afternoon in St. Louis. Play underway now as we're just seconds into this contest. The game of their lives, Ty, for most of these players.
I think so. We mentioned at the top of the show that for the New York Greek American Atlas, it's a chance for them to become a club to win this championship 5 times. They've won it 4 times in their history. And for the Florida team, the St. Petersburg Datagraphic Kickers, this is their first chance for a championship.
Nice ball up the right side, but it's kicked out. St. Petersburg dressed in the all-whites with the navy trim, and the New York team dressed in the red tops, navy shorts, white socks and trim. St. Petersburg with the ball now. This is Patrick Daxon, one of 3 Daxon brothers. Cross into the box, chance for St. Pete, and the shot by Fotopoulos, handled there by Radovich, but a good chance right off the bat for St. Petersburg.
Well, you like to see a team go directly into the attack and test the goalkeeper. And the save there by Radovic, it's a good save, good positioning by him. The ball is cut back very nicely. 1 touch to control, and is driven. It's good positioning, but he doesn't hold it. He looks a little shaky there. Early minute jitters. I think he likes to handle a shot early on to maybe settle those jitters.
A scramble for the ball in midfield now. It will come free to John Shannon for the New York Greek American Atlas team. Shannon, 28 years of age, out of Fordham University, tries to cross it far side, knocked down, but it comes free to John Lignos. He looks into the box. Nice ball for Shannon on the return end. but handled there by the St. Petersburg goalkeeper, Brett Phillips.
Son, run behind me, will you?
Foul right at the halfway line, and this will come back St. Petersburg ball. Number 15 for the Kickers, Joey Valetti, a senior at Duke University. He will leave it now on the side for Patrick Daxon, a hometown product or nearby hometown from St. Petersburg. Daxon from Tampa. Weak shot on goal, handled easily by Radovich. Radovich, you may have heard that name if you've followed soccer in the United States for any length of time. Dragon, originally out of Yugoslavia, played in the North American Soccer League in cities like Washington and Portland, Toronto and Chicago. Spent some time with the Brooklyn Italians in the New York area before joining this Greek-American Atlas squad 8 years ago. Ball back in midfield now, and it's St. Petersburg with it. And one thing we haven't pointed out up to this point, Ty, is that when you look at these two teams on paper, the Greek-American Atlas team, because of the former professionals and players with a vast amount of high-quality experience, they have to be the heavy favorites in this game.
I would think so, and these guys, they play in a very tough league in the New York area also, so they're used to hardened combat, whereas what we have with the St. Petersburg Kickers team is mostly college players and guys just out of college, so they do have youth on their side. So there's a very evident contrast, though, in the makeup of these two teams. We've got an average age of only about 24 for the St. Petersburg Datagraphic Kickers, and for the New York Greek-American Atlas, they're over 28 as an average age, and that may make a difference too, though, with these conditions, these very warm conditions. The heat here probably at the field level. We have a thermometer down there which will be showing it's at least 100 degrees down there.
Corner kick now for St. Petersburg over the intended target man, and it's rejected by New York. Taking it back, however, is Patrick Daxon. Stolen again, and now New York tries to get the ball up to Al Lawrence. An offside flag comes up on the near side, and this will come back New York ball. No score. We are just 4 minutes into the first half here at the St. Louis Soccer Park, St. Petersburg in New York, and we'll be back.
A nice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
And we are back in St. Louis. St. Petersburg goalkeeper Brett Phillips. Young man, only 20 years of age. He's a junior, or will be this fall, at Old Dominion University in Virginia. Went to Leto High School in Tampa. Local product. One thing we'll watch for as play comes back down to the other end, Ty, on a ball out, is that Phillips is playing with a bad right foot today, and that will eliminate the opportunity for him on goal kicks, and it may hamper his play somewhat in the back.
Well, it hampers the team in general. It's not a huge difference, but when you have to bring another player, another field player over to take the goal kicks, that means that's one fewer player that you have as a target when you do put the ball into play.
Radovich with the long kick. Half the length of the field, comes into the box. Chance for New York. Leaping up after it was Richard Castillo, but Phillips is there to grab it on the bounce.
Well, we see Radovich's kick is a weapon, offensive weapon for the New York team. They got into the attack very quickly with the long boot and the flick on there.
The defensive pressure put on there by Lawrence as it's played back to Phillips. Phillips in his first year with this St. Petersburg team, and he does try the right foot there, so maybe it's not as bad off as we thought. He got a lot of foot onto that ball, taken back by New York. Leaving it on the dummy play is Dimo Rumbas. Back now for Gonzalez. Gonzalez looking up the left wing for Lawrence. Back there defensively is Andrew Daxon, one of the three Daxon brothers here today, Ty, and we'll likely have our hands full sorting those three out, although only two of them are on the field right now. Challenge in midfield. Ball comes free to Lignos. Lignos looking wide and deep. Lawrence is there, and the tackle and the kick out. It'll come back New York ball.
But really, the field conditions here leave nothing to be desired. You've got a good wide field, as was evident there on that cross-field pass into the corner, and you've got a very good surface for moving the ball around.
Not a good restart as it's given away. Now the outside of the foot pass up the right wing. Taking it there is Polonais. And a foul called against New York. Siegfried Eichhorst on the throw-in. Eichhorst, the veteran of this St. Pete team. 34 years of age, originally out of West Germany. He's looking far post here. Nice ball. And Radovich bumped with the forward there for St. Pete. Looked like number 10, Lee Woolley, getting up. And Radovich seems to be a little shaken, Ty.
Well, Willie's got some good height and jumping ability, as he exhibited there, and he came all the way in. And he wants to let Radovich know that he's going to cause him some problems on those high balls.
Radovich unloads, and a break here. Still scoreless. We are 7 minutes into the first half here in St. Louis.
Tonight's forecast calls for something fresh. New Domino's Pan Pizza. With a 99-cent chance of precipitation. Just your time to try new Domino's Pan Pizza, because we'll throw in a 6-pack of Coca-Cola Classic for a cool 99 cents. Domino's Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
Throw in coming up for St. Petersburg.
Here we see a replay of the long high ball into the box. Radovich comes well out from his goal. He has it covered, but Willie goes up with him just to let him know he's there. There is some contact. Radovich just slightly bumped, and he seems to be okay right now.
Meanwhile, back to the action in midfield. St. Petersburg shot from the outside, and Radovich just bats it down, and he'll walk forward with it, though. Now here's number 10, Dimo Rumbas from Greece, and of course called the Greek-American Atlas team. One would assume there is a significant Greek flavor to this New York squad, and there is. Stolen again by St. Petersburg, who quite frankly, Ty, have shown some things here in the first half. They certainly don't appear to be overmatched.
No, they're playing with a great deal of poise. They're stepping right up, and they're going to go at it with a team that probably has considerably more experience and certainly is an older team.
Woolley taken down. Now back comes New York. Setting it into the midfield is John Shannon, stolen there. Back comes St. Petersburg, Joey Valente, and that's broken up again. And so far that final pass or two near the top of the penalty area hasn't been there for either side. Back will come St. Petersburg now. Here's Eichhorst. Plays it short to Polonais. Back for Eichhorst now. Top of the box. Polonais stops it. Over to the right foot. Looking far post. It's offside as the flag comes up. Just as Woolley is there to head it toward net. Radovich had it covered, but the flag was up.
Offside, but an excellent idea here. First, some good combination work down the right side. Finally, Polonais tries to pick out Woolley at the far post. He does find him, but as you see, he had already moved into an offside position. But that's where the danger is. The man is obviously very strong in the air, and they're going to look to him on those type of far post balls. Polonais finding Woolley at the far post. He's open. He's able to get on the header, but he was offside.
Lee Woolley scored 63 goals for St. Petersburg this year, and that came in only about 38 games. So obviously he was scoring at a clip of about 2 a game, as we have a foul in the St. Petersburg defensive half of the field. So Woolley is one to watch out for. They nickname him Nightmare for some reason. Actually, the reason is he is so unpredictable, a very unorthodox player.
He's not a pretty player, I guess, but he must be effective to come in with those type of statistics. To be able to score goals, that's at a premium in this game.
Here's Carl Christian, originally from England. Nice ball to the top of the box. Trying to settle it there is number 9 for New York, Castillo, but a handball called just as Rumbas was about to step in and smack that one.
And it was either a handball or it could have been a dangerous play the way he slid in with the foot up. So in either case, it is a 2-kick foul.
No score here in the first half. We are at the St. Louis Soccer Park, where it is hot. So right now, that's not of concern to the individuals on the field. Winning their first championship for many of these players is certainly on their minds. As we mentioned in our open, the New York team has won this title 4 times before. St. Petersburg has never been here. Talking to the head coach of the Kickers tie yesterday, Steve Gogas, he said if we can keep New York off the scoreboard for about the first 20 minutes, we're going to be in great shape. Obviously, he realized on paper they were overmatched, and I think if he felt if he could get them frustrated early, that might be enough for his defense to set in and do the job.
I think he had a lot of respect, really, for these players, many ex-pros and players that have been playing in the New York area for quite some time, and hoping to stay in the game in the early going, and beyond that to maybe in these kind of heat conditions that youth would start to carry the game. So, so far, things are going according to his plan.
This is Craig Fawcett from Largo, Florida. That's knocked away. Comes free back into midfield for Andrew Daxon. Daxon is the kind of guy you want to have as your friend. He works for the IRS in Tampa. Plays that one offside, and that'll come back New York ball with about 32 minutes left here in the first half.
So I guess you should even be nice to him on the field, right? You won't see anybody kicking him or anything like that. Both teams here playing a type of offside trap, in particular the Greek American Atlas from New York. They're pulling up their backfield very quickly, and they've already caught the Data Graphics St. Petersburg Kickers on a few occasions.
A chance for New York now. This is Lawrence. Looking into the box, it's chipped up in the air by the defender Daxon as they were trying to work it in front for Roombas, and this will come back St. Pete ball. So it's still scoreless, but an opportunity presenting itself there for the New York Greek American Atlas side.
Yeah, talking about the heat, the reason you don't see very many fans on the far side, they're staring directly on the sun. You won't see, we do have a sizable contingent here on the near side who are enjoying the game, and what we've been seeing is some entertaining soccer. Both teams trying to push the ball around and wait for the openings to develop.
Gonzalez up to Kazunas. It'll be taken back by St. Pete. Valente playing it back to the defense. Now it comes into the midfield for Eichhorst. Siegfried Eichhorst came to the United States from Germany at a very young age, went to Eastern Illinois University. One of the interesting things talking to Gogas, the coach of the Kickers, Eichhorst has never received a yellow card in his life. So if we see one today, we've got a scoop.
It'll be a first, yeah. Well, a real sportsman, you like to see that. And he already showed just before combining with Polonais that he knows how to play the game. Good pass work by them to down the right side that eventually led to the head ball by Woolley.
This is Enko Misic. They call him Vinny. Christian playing it up the wing, and that will come out. And we will pause. New York nothing, St. Petersburg nothing. We're in the first half of the U.S. National Championship, and we'll be back.
Yours is a distinctive style, captured in all you undertake, marked by a great attention to detail and an elegance uncommon to most, precision, technical perfection, extraordinary strength, with a penchant for action and an appreciation for the extraordinary. An absolute winner. The new Riviera, obviously Baume & Mercier.
30 minutes to go in this first half. St. Petersburg in the white and New York in the red scoreless. This is Polonais, who was on the giving end of a creative opportunity earlier on in this game. Now it comes over to the right side. This is George Kazunas. Or check that, it's Eichhorst. Eichhorst dropping it back now. And into the box it comes, kicked out by the defense. Good job there by New York to clear it. Back in it comes once more, and now it bounces free into the midfield. Lawrence chasing it down. He has a man with him in midfield. This is Al Lawrence from Dominica, which is not the Dominican Republic, but it's an island in the Caribbean. Player there indicating the ball went off of the New York player last, but they will give it New York throw in.
It was a nice try, but actually they're showing the number 9 for the other team. Here in the corner, a race for the ball. The defender, Knowles, marking up very tightly and clearing the ball out at the last second, and the replay proves him wrong because that was off of his foot.
Ball crossed to the top of the box, but away from any New York attackers, and out for the Kickers now comes George Fotopoulos. Fotopoulos, also a Tampa Bay product. There was some question as to whether or not he would start this game, but Gogas has decided to bring him in from the onset. Now this is Patrick Daxon from Stetson University in Dayton, Florida. Nice takeaway up at the top of the box. Now something happening here for St. Pete. Shot on goal and taken by the goalkeeper Radovich. The shot by Craig Fawcett didn't get too much on that, Ty, and it looked more dangerous than it turned out to be.
Well, he should have done better with it because you'll see here Valenti striking a ball very nicely across the edge of the box into space where Fawcett is wide open. He just doesn't get enough on it, really, to cause a problem for Radovic.
Perhaps the key to turning that into a good chance, Ty, was to hit it first time on the half volley, but maybe that's what gave him
problems. He got there just slightly late to be able to do that, and the ball's now down on the ground, and it's not as easy to get a clean, clear cut at it. I don't think he realized how much space he had to work with either.
He may have had time to one-touch that, settle it for a better shot.
Exactly, because in there, if he gets it under control, the defenders have to be a little bit careful. They don't want to cause a penalty either, so he's got probably more time than he thinks.
A gamble out of the back by Valenti, but he doesn't beat Lignas. Lignas now looking over to the left flank. This is Rumbas chasing it down. Getting there ahead of him, though, is Patrick Daxon. That will roll out for St. Petersburg ball on the throw-in.
Lignos showing that he's the man they look to distribute the ball, to spread the ball out and try and launch attacks.
Here's Paulinet, number 9. Paulinet from Trinidad. Nice ball, top of the box for Woolley. Woolley tripped up, no foul on the play. And the defender there on the play was Carl Christian, stopping Big Lee Woolley.
Well, I think there's no doubt at this point that the St. Petersburg Kickers have the territorial advantage. They're the ones who've been pushing up into the New York Greek American Atlas's end of the field probably 80% of the time at this point.
Ball out for the Kickers. When we come back, it's still scoreless. 27 minutes.
Join us for Bob Mann's Proven Golf Method, a 30-minute television special showing you how to use Bob's proven methods to hit the ball more solidly, to reduce your score, and add enjoyment to your game. Don't miss Bob Mann's Proven Golf Method on this channel.
Join us Saturday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern and Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern here on FNN Score.
Randy Hahn along with Ty Keogh back at the St. Louis Soccer Center. We're in the first half of the 1989 U.S. National Senior Soccer Championships. This is the final game of the year for these players, although their season starts again in September. It's not much of an off-season, Ty.
No, not at all. It's a long season, particularly if you continue to survive in the Cup competition. And here they are in the national final.
Chance for New York here. Shot by number 9, Richard Castillo. Over the crossbar, however. That will come back goal kick for St. Petersburg.
This is one of the few real chances that the New York team has had. Here Castillo trying to get as much as he can behind that ball to test Phillips, but what he does is get under it as well and put it over the top.
Castillo, the leading scorer for New York this year with 16 goals in 18 regular season games. Greek American Atlas finished their season in the Hellenic American Soccer League with a record of 10-4-4. Tough league. Even with that record, they finished in 4th place. But they won their League Cup, and now they're here in the national final. New York with the ball. Long cross up the left side of the field. On it is Castillo. Castillo tried to keep it in play, but it will roll out for another goal kick for St. Petersburg. Castillo went to Ohio State University, born in New York, runs his own retail store in the New York area now. 27 years of age, and this is his first year with the Greek Americans.
And he's got a powerful build. He's a good target player. He's able to hold defenders off and try and make things happen. So you'll see him trying to get possession and use that size to maneuver around the other team's goal.
Yeah, we should mention, Ty, that these players are kind of a mix of amateurs, professionals, and semi-pros.
Right.
All of them have to have other real jobs. They don't get paid enough to live off their soccer, but the players from St. Petersburg are all amateurs. None of them receive any compensation. Ball cleared back out to the top of the box. New York trying to get something going there, but it was taken away by the St. Petersburg defender, Fortner.
Yeah, correct. For St. Petersburg, we have all amateurs and quite a few college players, NCAA players. Whereas for the New York team, you've got some ex-full-time professionals and some guys now that are on, it's a semi-pro basis and a bonus system. If they win, they get a little more than if they lose.
All the players on the New York team receive payment of some sort, but it is what you would call minimal by other professional sports standards, averaging between, I would think, about $100 and $250 a game, depending on the individual player. So it's kind of an interesting matchup from that standpoint. The amateur college-type players, if you will, against someone with considerable professional experience. Ball cleared out by New York. Christian kicking it to the near side, and this will be thrown back in by Joey Valenti. Still no score, 23 minutes left in this first half. Hope you're enjoying our broadcast from the St. Louis Soccer Park this afternoon. We're getting a little bit of a breeze up here now, and it's cooling things off just a little, but it's still well near the 100-degree mark, and down on that field, of course, as you know, Ty, that heat gets trapped a little bit, and it's even a little hotter than up here for us.
Well, luckily we are on a natural surface as opposed to AstroTurf. And the other thing is it's really not as humid as it sometimes can be in this river city. So a little bit of a break for the players in that respect. The temperature high, but the humidity not exceedingly high.
Nice play as it's taken away from Rumbus by Craig Fawcett. The roar came up from the crowd here. Now something going for St. Petersburg. Polonais working it wide. This is Fotopoulos. He'll cross it back in, and it's kicked back out again by Misic.
Many times hard work is the difference between a winner and a loser. And here we see Fawcett tracking down his man, sliding in, winning the ball fairly, and waltzing away with it. And more plays like that will eventually break through into something at the other end.
Number 7 for Datagraphic Kickers, Siegfried Eichhorst. Back to the far side it comes again. And you see those flags, and you know what we're talking about when we're saying a little breeze came up, and I'm sure we're all thankful for that.
And St. Petersburg Datagraphic Kickers really doing a better job of using the width of the field. They're spreading the ball wide.
Polonais looked as if he toe-poked that one almost on the pass from Eichhorst. No problem really for Radovich, and now he'll boot it back the other way, looking up for Al Lawrence, who kind of plays up there like a target man. Also matched up with Castillo. Ball will bounce free over to the far side, and Bill Fortner from right here in St. Louis will chase it down.
That's right. This final of the men's senior national championship has had a St. Louis flavor over the last several years. Bill Fortner, they're playing for the St. Petersburg team, but 3 out of the last 4 years, a St. Louis team has been in this final, and it's one of the reasons that they brought the final here. And by the by the results, there's no St. Louis team here this particular year. And in '86 and in '88, St. Louis teams did win this competition. Last year it was the Bush Soccer Club, whose home field is right here, and in '86 it was the Cuda Soccer Club of St. Louis. No St. Louis team this year, but a St. Louis and playing in the back for the St. Petersburg Kickers.
In fact, the Bush Soccer Club last year beat the San Francisco Greek Americans 2-1. The Greek Americans are well represented coast to coast.
And the coach of that San Francisco Greek Americans was at the time the U.S. national team coach, Lothar Oseander, who has since given the reins over to Bob Gansler.
Here's a chance now for Eichhorst, wide to the right side, looking to cross it back in front, but he bent that just a little too much the other way, and it goes out of play, and will come back New York ball. We have 20 minutes left to go here in the first half in St. Louis. New York and St. Petersburg scoreless, and we'll return.
My special guest today is Miss Chiquita. Welcome, Chiquita.
Thank you, Dick.
You know, you're one of the few musical giants who've never appeared on our show.
Well, my other career does come first. Growing the world's finest fruit takes a lot of time and attention.
So how about doing a medley of your hit right now?
I'd be honored. I'm Chiquita Banana, and I come to say bananas have to rise.
I'd give it a 98. It's got a good beat, and you can dance to it.
Chiquita, the first lady of fruit.
Good action here so far in the first half, and a chance now for St. Petersburg. A shot, and it's just wide to the right side as Joey Valenti was in alone against Radovich. And what a great chance there, Ty.
Well, again, the St. Petersburg team is the team that's generating some attack. Valenti gets the ball. He breaks through the ball from Polonais. He's all the way into the box. Radovich comes to cut the angle. Valenti not able to put the ball on goal. What you like to see as the attacking player coming in is at least force the keeper to make a save. He's under some pressure from the defender catching up with him from behind, but he doesn't put it on goal, so he doesn't even force a save.
So it's still scoreless. Back comes New York. Out to try and knock it down is Daxon. Now we have a whistle. A foul will be called against Al Lawrence of Greek Americans Atlas.
Well, just to clarify here what's at stake and what this competition is, we mentioned at the top of the show that these are the top teams. This is a competition that is open to any club team in the United States as long as they pay the fee. And it's called the Senior National Championship, really to distinguish it from the Youth National Championships. So these guys are the best adult, if you will, adult players in the United States playing in a national final.
And as you pointed out, when it comes to the average ages, we're talking the majority of these players in their 20s. So well said, Ty, that these are not senior citizens by any stretch.
No, they're not. But they're not youth players either. They're one step beyond that.
Phillips comes out to help the defense on that play. And back comes St. Petersburg, a team that was founded back in 1958 by Kurt Herbach, who rather tragically passed away just prior to their 30th anniversary as a team last year. But they have been a team with a lot of tradition. Shot by Woolley, the left footer from just outside the box, about 20 yards away, knocked down. This is Rumbus back with it for New York. As we mentioned, New York has won this title 4 times. In 1967, 68, 69, and then again in 1974. And they would join 3 other teams that have won this competition 5 times.
But that's since 1914.
Since 1914.
We're going back a few years.
This is the 75th anniversary of this event this year.
Well, the Greek American Atlas would have to be, from New York, would have to be considered one of the dominating teams of the more recent years in this competition.
Here's Lignas. Lead pass ahead, and that is offside. And everyone here realized that, although Lawrence wasn't going to acknowledge it unless absolutely forced to, as he was.
It wasn't by much. He was trying to time his run so that he didn't leave too early. What ended up happening, he was even with the last defender when the ball was kicked to him, and even is good enough to be called offside.
Right there again, St. Pete playing the offside trap, and as you can probably attest to, Ty, that can be a risky game if you judge incorrectly or if you get the wrong call. You can play that trap and stop and think it's offside, and it's not.
The guy's all the way in, isn't he, if you stop. But it's also an energy-saving tactic on a day like today with the heat. Instead of having to chase those forwards, maybe just pull the trap.
Paulinet with the shot, put it low to the far post, actually his near post. Radovich there with the save. Dragon picks up and lays it off to the left side now for the defender, Carl Christian. Christian attending Queens College in New York. Tripped up as he got rid of that ball. Now back comes the other way on the transition. Here's Valenti again. Valenti looking to the middle. Kind of wasted that one. He had Woolley to him on the right and decided instead to play it into a lot of traffic. And Woolley a little upset with that decision. But again, St. Petersburg appearing to be dominating, at least offensively, on the ball right now, and perhaps unfortunate, especially on the chance by Valenti, that they're not ahead.
They're very well organized, and they are working the ball well.
Here's Woolley bashing away, and he hit the side of the net. And right there is a little bit of that unpredictability or that unorthodox style that we talked about that we expected to see from Lee Woolley.
Well, again, it's a loose ball in the box, and who's the man to get a piece of it somehow there? There's Woolley, and it bounces his way, but he's at a bad enough angle that he's not able to get it on goal, and he hits the side netting. Breaking between 2 defenders. He has some interference there, but the ball seems to pop out for him, but not able to put it on goal. He hits it wide and hits the side of the net.
An obstruction foul in midfield. This will be called against Craig Fawcett as we are still looking at the final angle there.
Showing Radovic there at the near post. A little interesting history between he and myself. We played against each other in a national youth final in 1975 when he played for a New York youth team and I played for a St. Louis youth team. So we go back a few years.
Here comes the Greek American Atlas side. Shot from way outside by John Shannon. That will go wide of the net and off the field of play. In fact, onto one of the AstroTurf surfaces that surrounds this tremendous St. Louis Soccer Park facility, Ty, and you're a native here in the St. Louis area. This really has to be the best facility of its kind in the United States now.
And you can see why. I mean, we talked about the quality of the surface here on the main game field, where incidentally the U.S. national team plays as often as they can, really. They like to come here. They've had some very good results here in Olympic qualifiers and in World Cup qualifiers. So somewhat, in quotations, call this the home of the United States national team. And really the premier soccer facility, considered by many to be the premier soccer facility in all of the United States. They've got a complex of 4 grass fields and 2 AstroTurf fields, and everything is kept to a T.
We had a foul called against Fawcett in midfield. So now the free kick, and John Lignos is there to take it. John's in his 3rd year with the New York team. Hits it hard and right back through the box and out again.
Well, he's trying to find the target player that we talked about before, Castillo. Just didn't put the proper trajectory on it in that particular instance. But that's the guy they look for up top. He's the one that is the target.
You see the time remaining, just a little over 13 minutes. Of course, in the outdoor game, continuous action, even through injury stoppages, and those are theoretically added to the clock by the official, the referee on the field, who is the only one who has the official time. So the time we show you is certainly unofficial, and we would like to stress that. But it's pretty close in this game, as there have been few stoppages here so far for injuries. St. Pete with the ball now.
And the New York Greek American Atlas content at this time to sit back and look for counterattacks.
And here's a chance. It comes to Al Lawrence on the left side. In front with him is Castillo. He's taken down inside the box.
That's a close one there because he made a nice move and cut inside, and he was clipped.
There's another shot, this one by Lawrence. And that one's taken by Phillips, but it was Jim Knowles who was in on the tackle inside the penalty area there, and oh so close to a penalty kick for New York.
Some good maneuvering down the left side here, and he's in the box. A great move there. He shoves it past, and then the contact is made. And by the book, that's a penalty kick, but referees, tend to go with the seriousness of the foul and how deliberate it was when it gets to be in the penalty box. And I think that may have been the case here. I don't know how deliberate that may have been.
Gonzalez commits a foul for New York in midfield, and the kicker's now with it. And this is the gentleman stepping up to the ball there, Knowles, in on that play moments ago, who sends it into the penalty area. Headed back out by Apostolides. Back the other way comes John Shannon. He's in the Fordham University Soccer Hall of Fame, John Shannon. Congratulations. By the way, Fordham, for the uninitiated, is in the box. Takeaway again by St. Petersburg, and it's Valente sending it back to his own goalkeeper, and got a little bump there from John Lignos after the fact. Lignos, a little bit of an intimidator out there from time to time.
He's got that cast, that padding on his arm to swing around a little bit, too.
Here's Phillips. He'll just play it short to the left side. No score here in the first half. 11 minutes and change left to go unofficially in the first half of play.
St. Pete wearing the white, and they've had a lot of the play in the red, the New York team. But the biggest difference at this point that I see is the New York team and the Greek American Atlas have really only been playing with 2 men up top. They've had Castillo up there, number 9, and they've had Lawrence, number 12. Whereas the St. Pete team, the Data Graphic Kickers, have had usually at least 3 players up. They've got Woolley up in the center, and flanking him, they've got Polonais and Eichhorst on the right.
Foul moments ago there.
Here, just a little bit of a clip, enough to impede his progress, and the referee's right there to call it.
New York with the ball now from center, played wide to the left side. Kazunas looking for it, but nowhere near him. Easily taken by Phillips. The Kickers, of course, play their home games in St. Petersburg. The New York team plays its home games at Queensboro Community College. That's in Bayside, New York. American Atlas ball now. Here's Lawrence chesting it down, playing that target position, holding the defender off and sending it back. Now from the about 25-yard out area, shot by number 10, Orumbas, goes out, and it'll be goal kick for St. Petersburg. No score with 9 minutes left to go here in the first half, and we'll be back in St. Louis.
Weekend sports news. When you want it. No waiting. The new score. Coming soon.
Randy Hanala with Ty Keogh back in St. Louis. 9 minutes left to go in this first half. St. Petersburg Kickers and the New York Greek American Atlas side scoreless in this U.S. Senior National Championship game. Getting deep now for St. Petersburg is Eichhorst, but unable to keep it in. It goes out of play over the near sideline, and this will be a throw in back for New York. Good look from our sideline camera there. Dragan Radovic picks up. Radovic is 32 years of age. Played a little bit of indoor soccer as well in the North American Soccer League. Not good distribution there as he gives it away to Polonais, but luckily gets it back.
I think he's going to elect to go with the long one this time, not take any chances.
I think so. He's got the wind with him, so he might as well. And he gets a good bit of this one. Comes down to Andrew Daxon. Sends it ahead to Valenti. Now broken up by New York. Here's Rumbas. The midfielder turning and shooting right foot. Diving to his left, our right, is the goalkeeper Phillips to stop it on the one hop. And right now New York launching a lot of shots, Ty, from outside the 18-yard box and from considerably outside.
Well, they're only now just starting to push a few more players forward to look to see if they can make something happen. But for large parts of this first half, as I said before, they've been content really just to leave maybe 2 players up and go for a quick counter.
Pass ahead intended for Eichhorst, and that goes back through to Radovic. You know, as we talked about earlier, the coach of St. Petersburg, Gogas, feeling that the longer this went scoreless, the longer it worked to his advantage. One has to agree, as the fatigue factor no doubt will set in eventually. Foul here against St. Pete. And with only one true substitution as far as a field player goes, the other being a goalkeeper, New York's a little strapped in that regard.
Well, except for the fact that these guys are pretty cunning, these older players with experience. They can find a way to lay low, not look like they're doing much, and all of a sudden come up with a goal.
On the restart, on an indirect kick, Lagnos from way the other side of center got that one right inside the box, and it had some potential if Brett Phillips doesn't get up there, but the young 20-year-old out of Old Dominion did.
He's looked very confident the times that he has come out to snag balls along those lines. He's got some good size and is an intimidating force in his area.
Phillips is one of about 3 or 4 players on the St. Petersburg team who only comes in for games such as this, the cup games, the big games, the important ones. A lot of the local games played in the Florida area and in the Suncoast Soccer League, in which the kickers play. You won't see players like Phillips there for the race.
Well, they're busy with their studies.
A chance from outside. This time it's Fawcett, and that one will go high and wide and out of play for goal kick for New York with 6 minutes and 10 seconds left unofficially, as some folks here are enjoying the atmosphere at the St. Louis Soccer Center. We'll take a break and be back. Oh, and we are still here with 5:53 left. I guess they were pausing.
Well, it's okay here.
Long pass left side, and looking for it was Kazunas.
And Phillips again willing to come well off his line to avert any danger to his goal area.
Quite honestly, Ty, I think the breeze, and maybe it's a wind now to some extent, is playing a part in this game, and right now New York has it. As we saw with that ball there that Valenti tried to send up into midfield, the wind got a hold of it and sort of bent it back toward the middle of the field. Chesting it down at center is Rumbas, plays it up, headed back down again by Fawcett. The turn now played out to the right side for Valenti. Valenti, a very hard-working midfielder. He's around the ball a lot. To Polonais, steps past the defender, lost possession momentarily, trying to struggle back to his feet, and the foul called against Polonais, as it seemed he was knocked down, but it goes the other way.
He was down, and then he went to lean in to the defender. Here he is putting on a pretty good move, but he loses his balance a little bit. He recovers it, and there's the tackle made there. He's down, and here's the foul where he kind of falls backwards into the defender, and the kick goes the other way.
Nice step-away move by Fawcett in midfield to elude a tackle. Now Polonais, overlap pass to the right side. This is Patrick Daxon. Back across the other side. Woolley trying to control it, and just getting back is Apostolides, the defender. It will be corner kick for St. Petersburg, but a nice play there on both ends of the ball.
Very dangerous situation. Ball clipped across again to Woolley. He's there. He's behind his defender, but he tried to get a little too cute with it, perhaps, and not taking it first time, because when he went to take the first touch, he left the ball exposed, and the defender was able to step in and clear it away.
So now Valenti steps over to the corner flag to take this corner kick. Valenti, a senior at Duke University, won an NCAA championship in his freshman year. Off the corner, it comes to the top of the box for Eichhorst. He tried to poke it forward, but it's cleared back out to center. This is Andrew Daxon trying to set it down, but it's stolen. Now it's a pass for Lawrence, but he's offside as he got behind Bill Fortner before that pass came from center. New York players arguing the call, and it is St. Petersburg ball as they walk it up the middle of the field. 3:23 left unofficially in this first half, and it is scoreless. Pass through the middle, looking for Fotopoulos. That's rejected. Now back comes Fawcett. Fawcett's stumbling, and he's fouled by Lignos, who's been on the giving end of a few of those. And the free kick now will come from about 25 yards out.
Depending on how well rehearsed they are in these direct kick situations, you'll see some good chances from these situations.
That was not a bad chance at all, as Valenti just missed as it went about crossbar high before Radovich poked it.
Did you think you heard a whistle before he actually struck that ball?
I don't recall hearing one.
I thought I did, and I thought they were going to make him retake it, but apparently it counted.
It will be corner kick because Radovich did tip it over the crossbar. I'm not sure if it wouldn't have gone over anyway, but he wasn't going to take a chance. So
that's the reason I kept speaking, is because I didn't think that one would count since I heard a whistle before he actually was about to kick it.
Valenti again. Over it comes, and Fawcett tried to jam it back into the traffic in front. Here's Lawrence trying to settle it for his midfield. Still scoreless, and again St. Petersburg wins possession with 2 minutes left now in the half, and they have really dominated this opening half of play so far, but it is still scoreless. From the left side, the kickers trying to make something happen in the dying moments here. Paulinet shot from the outside, and Radovich just gets there, knocks it down, and keeps it from going over the end line for corner kick. But a nice chance there for Paulinet.
Again, the St. Pete team pushing forward. This ball taken very well out of the air. It's going for that low corner, but Radovic dives over to save. It starts with the chip from the far side. And the important thing here is to hit that ball first time. That's what will catch your goalkeeper a little off guard, but Radovic was up to it.
For whatever reason, the game clock here at the St. Louis Soccer Park has stopped at the 2-minute mark. Of course, the time is kept officially on the field by our referee, Alex Parra. Throw in here now for the kickers. Eichhorst sends it down for Fawcett.
Well, what they do is they stop the clock so that there's no confusion, so that everyone knows that it's really the official in the middle of the field who keeps the official time.
There you go. Some busy work in the midfield by Fotopoulos. Plays it wide out to the left for Fawcett. Fawcett knows he has Woolley in there. Gets a nice ball up. Woolley looking for it in the air, but it was knocked down by Carl Christian. New York with who knows how much time left, probably seconds to go here in the first half. A chance as they break free. It was Castillo shaking off his marker, but then he stumbled.
Fortner nearly beaten, but he recovered just enough to interfere, get a little piece of the ball, and get a piece of the man as well.
There you see that clock frozen on the 2-minute mark, so we will disregard it and just watch the referee on the field. Here's Eichhorst, just outside top of the box. And stolen and broken up again. Rumbus with it. Looks up for Al Lawrence. We get the whistle from the referee, and that is an offside call against New York. Linesman on the far side of the field, Herb Silva, out of right here in St. Louis, making the call. One of the players on the field taking his jersey off for whatever reason, and I think he felt that that last whistle was for halftime, and now we do get the whistle finally
I've never seen that before.
to indicate the end of the first half of play. So we are through 45 minutes here at the St. Louis Soccer Center. It's New York nothing and St. Petersburg nothing in the U.S. Senior National Championship, and we'll be right back.
For the taste so crisp and clean, so refreshing, it's the king of beers.
You're Ours is a distinctive style, captured in all you undertake, marked by a great attention to detail and an elegance uncommon to most. Precision, technical perfection, extraordinary strength with a penchant for action and an appreciation for the extraordinary. An absolute winner. The new Riviera, obviously Baume & Mercier.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball!
You got a thirst.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball!
You know what you need.
Give me the ball!
Fluids and minerals fast.
Give me the ball!
Energy for hard-working muscles.
Gatorade!
Nothing better. Give me some of that Gatorade.
It's halftime here at the St. Louis Soccer Park, and scoreless between the St. Petersburg Kickers and the New York Greek American Atlas team. Randy Hahn along with Ty Kehoe back at the St. Louis Soccer Park, and after a scoreless first half, Ty, obviously can't talk about the goal scoring in the first half of play, but I think it's certainly worth mentioning the fact that, as we did in the onset, this is a very experienced New York team with a lot of professionals, semi-pros, against essentially a college lineup for St. Petersburg, and St. Petersburg has done very well through 45 minutes.
Well, they've worked very well, and they've gotten more players involved in the attack. Valenti coming out of the midfield, and Woolley's always dangerous up top, but Icor's doing a good job down the right side. So they've had more players involved and they've been able to combine. So it's a situation where they've had busier players. At the other end, the New York Greek American Atlas have really just relied on two players up top, Castillo and Lawrence, but they're pretty much outnumbered every time they come up with the ball, and they don't have much support from midfield.
I agree with you. I like the midfield work of St. Petersburg. Also their defense. We haven't mentioned this yet. In their season this year, they scored 98 goals and gave up only 12, and maybe always not against competition like we're seeing today, and maybe some easier games, but that defensive strength is showing.
Well, I think the other thing is if your team is attacking all the time, you don't need to defend that much, and that's been the case today. Not a whole lot of pressure on the defense of St. Petersburg because they've had the ball up at the other end.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, this very soccer park here was the site of an earlier World Cup qualifying match this year featuring the United States national team. Let's talk a little bit about the U.S. national team right now, Ty, as they get set to continue competition. And, of course, their game scheduled with El Salvador has been kind of put on the shelf right now. We're not exactly sure when and where it will be played. But they are, while not leading the group, certainly on track to qualify for Italy in 1990.
Yeah, their biggest obstacle is that they have 4 remaining games in the 8-game series. They are 2-1-1. However, 3 of those 4 games will be on the road, so it is difficult to get good results on the road. If they're able to get a couple good results on the road, then they're certainly on track to make it to the World Cup finals in Italy in 1990.
We should qualify those standings as you look at them in the World Cup qualifying group, that the game between Costa Rica and El Salvador scheduled for this month is not reflected in those standings. Ty, some speculation that the U.S. national team may be adding some players. Of course, Ricky Davis and Hugo Perez, a couple of key individuals, are still hurt and have been hurting for some time. Kevin Crowe, now finished with the indoor season, is available. Would you think the national team would be looking to try and get Kevin to change his mind and rejoin the team?
That's a difficult call because there's a certain thing to be said for continuity and the players that have been playing together over the last several months in these qualification games. Kevin Crowe, obviously a tremendously experienced center back. He can add a lot to the team, but he's not been there, and the other guys have developed an understanding. So a difficult decision for Coach Gansler.
All right, that's the story on the World Cup team. Here in St. Louis at the soccer park, we're at halftime, and it's St. Petersburg and the New York Greek American Atlas team scoreless. After 45 minutes of play, we'll be back with more of our halftime in a moment.
Richard Reeves, author and syndicated columnist for American Heritage Magazine.
Harry Truman said, "The only thing new in the world is the history you don't know." That's why American Heritage is my favorite magazine. Issue after issue is filled with things I didn't know. Stories, pictures that help us understand how we got to be Americans. Look here, for instance. Here's an article on how air conditioning changed everything. The same issue covers a women's rights convention in 1910. Did you know about the FDR tapes, secret recordings made by President Roosevelt in 1940? What it was like to be sick 100 years ago? And America's boldest counterfeiter who drew $50 bills by hand. American Heritage is the story of America, superbly printed and handsomely bound. With beautiful drawings, paintings, and rare old photographs, it's our family album, how our parents and grandparents lived, the land they tamed, the ships they sailed, the towns they carved from the wilderness. In every issue, our text comes from a galaxy of distinguished writers and thinkers. With wit, candor, and style, they tell how we came to be what we are today, the story of American achievement. I've written for American Heritage. I subscribe to it. I recommend it. It's a great national resource.
Right now, you can subscribe to American Heritage for 1 year through this special offer. Call this number to get 8 big issues of American Heritage for just $27. It's America's family album and a perfect gift. 8 issues for just $27. That's 25% off the newsstand price. Call now and you'll get the American Heritage Dictionary, a magnificent hardbound edition that's up-to-date, precise, and clearly illustrated, free with your paid subscription. Get 8 issues of American Heritage and this free 800-page dictionary, all for just $27. Call now.
Back at the St. Louis Soccer Park, it's halftime at this U.S. Senior National Championship game, and the St. Petersburg Kickers from Florida and the New York Greek Atlas Soccer Club are scoreless through 45 minutes of play. Well, as we've been mentioning, the United States national soccer team is now in the final round of qualification for the World Cup being played in Italy in 1990. And recently we had a chance to talk to Werner Fricker, the president of the United States Soccer Federation, who's spearheading the United States effort.
The U.S. soccer program is going full speed ahead, and there is fortunately more work to do all the time than we can get done within the time we have available. But I see our national teams continue to make tremendous progress that they have, and beyond winning important matches, I see them become more consistent, and I think it's very important. Also, once we will have qualified for 1990, it's very important that prior to the 90 World Cup, we begin to play some games at home with the U.S. team against some of the very, very strong teams from Europe and South America.
Fricker has already arranged for one of these international test matches with Mayor Wilson Good of Philadelphia.
And the upcoming game on August the 25th against the Dnepr team from the Soviet Union, which will be here in Philadelphia, is the first game that we are putting on as a test game, and it's obviously been chosen to be in the city of Philadelphia because of the kind of support that you've given us, and the city and the whole community has given us throughout the years, and we are very confident it'll be a smashing success, and it'll be a model for the rest of the cities around the country where we hope to do similar games from between now and 1994.
Well, we're very much interested in making sure the 25th game is an excellent one. We think that we can pull together the people, the support, the organization to demonstrate that this is the right place for 1994.
Fricker is a successful builder in Horsham, Pennsylvania, and he talks about the challenges he faces in preparing for the World Cup in the U.S. in 1994.
The challenge is on a short-term basis to organize our organizing committee, to organize it in a proper manner, to have not only soccer officials like myself and other officers from the Federation and the organizing committee, which is essential, but also to have at least several individuals who have stature among the 235 million Americans who are recognized from a business standpoint, from a political standpoint, from a civic standpoint. I think it is absolutely important that our organizing committee is structured in that manner. So it is absolutely clear to all of us within and everyone on the outside. This is the United States Organizing Committee, and it's the whole country who's behind it. Henry Kissinger, first of all, brings his love for the game and at his heart and soul. His total 100% support in any area where we needed it. He has the ability to pick up the telephone and get to a CEO of many, many of the major corporations in America and said, hey, we need your help. Henry Kissinger was very, very instrumental in doing that. He was very, very instrumental in assisting us to get the president to do what was necessary. Henry Kissinger was very, very instrumental in doing that. The United States has more and has probably better stadiums than any country around the world. It is true that not every stadium is totally ideal for soccer, but the stadiums that were preliminarily selected by our committee and were recommended to FIFA, they all either now already meet the requirements or with very minor modifications will be made to meet the requirements, such as the Rose Bowl. where the Olympic soccer games took place in 1984, where the Rose Bowl was filled for several matches. It didn't matter who played. Americans bought tickets and filled the stadiums. This will unquestionably be repeated in 1994 in 12 venues, in 12 different stadiums. It'll be televised to probably 160, 170 countries around the world, or maybe more. Those people back home in those countries will get a glimpse of America. Certainly they'll see the soccer matches, but they'll get a glimpse of America, not what somebody writes in a newspaper or in a publication. And I think it's very important. I think soccer is probably the best sport for us as Americans to develop a better relationship with the people around the world.
USSF President Werner Fricker, just one of the many individuals hoping to make the 1994 World Cup in the United States an international success. We're at halftime here, and we'll be back.
It's just a pure and natural being. Oh, so icy cold, so crisp, so clear. The king of beer, so fresh, so true. For you, you got the taste. This blood's for you. Give it a ball, give it a ball, give it a ball.
You got a thirst.
Give it a ball, give it a ball, give it a ball.
You know what you need. Fluids and minerals fast. Energy for hard-working muscles. Nothing better. Give me some of that Gatorade. Yours is a distinctive style, captured in all you undertake, marked by a great attention to detail and an elegance uncommon to most. Precision, technical perfection, extraordinary strength with a penchant for action and an appreciation for the extraordinary. An absolute winner. The new Riviera, obviously Baume & Mercier.
My guest today is Miss Chiquita. Welcome, Chiquita. How does it feel to be one of the world's most influential women?
You embarrass me, Rona. All I've tried to do is set a high standard for bananas.
Has growing the world's finest bananas affected your private life?
Bananas are my life, Rona.
Tell me, you look fabulous. It's on record that you're close to 50. What's your secret?
Lots of potassium.
Thanks a bunch, Chiquita.
Chiquita, the first lady of fruit.
I'm with Ed Munoz, the president of the U.S. Amateur Soccer Association, and good to have you here in St. Louis, Ed, on a very special day for your organization.
Thank you very much. It certainly is. I'd just like to emphasize the significance of this game being the first televised game in 75 years of the existence of this National Open Cup of the United States Soccer Federation. So therefore we're celebrating two special occasions, the 75th and the first televised National Championship of the United States Soccer Federation Cup.
Well, we're very glad that you made us a part of this 75th anniversary and also the first telecast, and best of luck to your organization for the next 75 years in this great event.
Hopefully to see you next year. Thank you very much.
Ed Munoz. The stats from that first half, and there you see the St. Petersburg domination in shots, 13-4, corner kicks 2-0. Saves, well, it has been busy for Radovich with 6 to only 1 for the other goalkeeper, Phillips. The fouls, again, New York the more aggressive side with 8 to 3 in that department. We'll be back with the second half in a moment. It's scoreless, New York and St. Petersburg, and we'll return to the St. Louis Soccer Park in just a moment.
Tonight's forecast calls for something fresh. New Domino's Pan Pizza. With a 99-cent chance of precipitation. Just your time to try new Domino's Pan Pizza, because we'll throw in a 6-pack of Coca-Cola Classic for a cool 99 cents. Domino's Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
I'm Robert Stack. I'm proud to know Ronald Reagan as a friend and as a great president. I would like you to join me in commemorating 8 years of the Ronald Reagan presidency. Now, you can have this commemorative medallion, a permanent tribute to the Ronald Reagan era of American history at the official issue price of $10. His genuine affection for our country and her people has made Ronald Reagan one of the most popular and best-loved presidents. This medallion has been engraved in exacting detail, is precision minted in solid pewter. It's the size of a silver dollar and is layered in 24-karat gold and offered for a limited time. It's a lasting tribute to this great leader and a way to preserve this period of American history for yourself and your children.
Order your Ronald Reagan commemorative medallions today for yourself or as a gift. This valuable collector's issue is sure to be treasured for years to come. Pay the $10 issue price plus $2 each for delivery. There is a limit of 3 medallions per order. Call this toll-free number now.
We're back at the St. Louis Soccer Park in the second half, just now underway. Randy Hahn along with Ty Keogh. St. Petersburg, Florida Kickers, sponsored by Data Graphic, wearing the white jerseys, defending the net to our right, attacking right to left in the second half. And it's the New York Greek American Atlas Soccer Club wearing the red jerseys, attacking left to right. This is St. Petersburg working through midfield. Fawcett, number 6, one of the busy midfielders for this Florida-based team. Gets it back. Fawcett now trying to step up for a shot. Fouled from behind by number 7, Kazunas. And this will be a fairly good free kick opportunity here now for St. Petersburg.
And they have the wind at their backs, so you're going to see more. There's Steve Gogas of the St. Petersburg team, the coach of the team. This is something I'm sure he's worked on with the team, a free kick situation from outside the box, and they have the wind at their backs.
About 28 yards out. And Polonais, predictably, near the ball. Valenti also standing alongside Polonais. And they're going to even set it down just right one more time, try and find that sweet spot.
And just a 3-man wall there, so they've got a little bit, they can try and bend it around there.
Woolley is at the top of the box. He heads toward net as Polonais takes the shot and he scores! Polonais pounds it into the back of the net, and St. Petersburg takes a 1-0 lead.
Well, he certainly hit it well. Coming up is Valenti. He just steps over, a little bit of a decoy, and Polonais blasts through, and I think we'll see when we see the replay from another angle, there may have been a deflection off of part of the wall, but what he did was able to keep the ball low and get it in around the 3-man wall. Here's Valenti. He approaches the ball. He's the decoy. Coming through is Polonais, and he just hammers it. You see the ball starting to hook around the wall. I think it may have touched someone in the wall. So there's a screen effect for Radovic. You can't see the ball coming past the wall, and I believe it was deflected just slightly.
25-year-old Garth Polonais scores the goal to give St. Petersburg and a happy Kickers group a 1-0 lead. Polonais attends Erskine College in South Carolina and has to be one of the most dedicated athletes I've ever heard of. He receives no pay for playing, and he drives 14 hours from South Carolina to St. Petersburg for home games when they play cup matches there. That is dedication. He's done that about 10 times this year alone. He fortunately was able to fly here for this game. Either way, he's glad to be here. He gets the goal to give St. Petersburg a 1-0 lead.
Well, may have been worth it if he comes up with a national championship. And the St. Petersburg Kickers, who are sponsored by Data Graphic. Data Graphic is a name in U.S. soccer that has normally been associated with Atlanta teams. And this is the first Florida team that they have sponsored. They sponsor over 60 teams, including youth and women's teams in the Atlanta, Georgia area. So it's making some inroads into Florida now and starting to sponsor some teams there.
George Baker, the president of Data Graphics in Atlanta. Here's the chance now for New York, and a great job by the goalkeeper, Brett Phillips. New York had 2 players wide on the far post side, and Phillips snatched that one out of the air before it caused problems for him at the far post.
Absolutely. If he doesn't come and cut that ball out, Lawrence is standing there just waiting to tap the ball in, as well as another New York Greek American Atlas player.
Now a giveaway as Fotopoulos plays it to a New York player. Now back come the Greek American Atlas side. Peter Karagiannis out for the first time as he comes on as a substitute here in the second half.
This will change the pace and really the complexion of this game. The New York team can no longer be as patient as they were in the early going. They're going to need to get more players in attack and make some things happen as they're facing a 1-0 deficit.
Offside call. I stand corrected. Karagiannis is not out there now, still over on the bench, but one would suspect the longer this goes, with New York trailing. If that, in fact, turns out to be the case, we may see Karagiannis before the afternoon is through.
I've not been able to identify any changes at that halftime break. It looks to be the same teams that started the game.
1-0 the score for St. Petersburg on the goal in the 48th minute by Garth Paulinet. That's the difference. Now an offside flag goes up, goes back down. Here's Paulinet again, but the flag is up for offside over on the far side of the field.
Some indecision exhibited there by the official because he initially waved the offside call off because the player elected to dribble instead of playing the ball into the space for the man who was in the offside position. Then it developed into a near scoring play, and he recanted and decided to call the play back to the original flag by the linesman. That's suspect by my book.
Lawrence with a weak shot, and it's handled rather routinely by goalkeeper Brett Phillips from Tampa. And he has been impressive, this 20-year-old. He's a junior at Old Dominion, will be this fall. If you're wondering how it works with these college players as the ball is headed out for corner kick, they play their college seasons, which essentially end around Christmas time in December, and then start playing for their club teams, in this case, Datagraphics Kickers. Presently, only a couple of college players with the New York Greek American, actually no college players with the New York Greek American team. They couldn't be college players and take that money, right, Ty?
I don't think so.
Here's a corner kick, another chance. Woolley goes up in the air and into the back of Dragan Radovich, and a foul is called against St. Petersburg. Boy, Woolley's aggressive up there inside that crease area.
Well, that's his job, and that's how he really makes his name known, is by getting in there and making things shake loose in the box. And there he is colliding with Radovic again.
Talk about playing the body. He played the body right there. He wasn't even going for ball.
He piled in.
Ball back to the other end now, and here's Phillips. Unofficially 38.5 minutes left in the second half. Still plenty of time for the New York Greek American Atlas side. But they trail 1-0 on the goal by Paulinet early here in the second half. Andrew Daxon, a right football, looking for Woolley. But the defender has a step on him. This is Misic. And it's played back to the goalkeeper as Radovich will pick it up once more. Toss ahead to John Shannon. Shannon played with the Tampa Bay Rowdies back in 1983. Working it up the wing, looking for Lawrence. That's broken up. And it was Valenti trying to bring it in, having some trouble.
Well, one of the first misplays we've really seen by Valenti.
He has been among the standouts for the St. Petersburg team, along with Paulinet. I think Craig Fawcett has done exceptionally well, and here's Paulinet again, making a run toward the 18-yard box, and bumped off by the defender.
A strong run it was. What he was able to do was accelerate and shield the ball with his body all at the same time, and it took a foul. Here we see it. He's approaching his defender. He takes a new angle there, and the only chance for the defender to keep him away from the ball is to play the man, which of course is illegal. And now we have a free kick very close to where the goal was scored from just a few minutes ago.
Misic committing the foul. He now forms part of that three-man wall, and they're going to bring one more over there as joining it is Castillo. I think after the last experience.
Yeah, three wasn't enough, was it?
This time the shot taken directly at Radovich by Valenti, and he didn't even have to move.
Well, some craftiness, some deception there. The last time it was Valenti who was only the decoy. This time he walks up and tries to clip a quick one over the top of the wall, but it was directly at Radovich.
Ball kicked out, and we will take a break here with just over 36 minutes left in the second half. St. Petersburg leading New York in this game for the national championship, and we'll be back.
Anyone care for an ice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
Al Lawrence for New York from outside the box. Plays it back of the flow. Here's Rumbas with a shot, and he hit it over the bar again. And Rumbas has been there time after time with those shots from outside the 18-yard box, Ty, but he can't keep them down.
Well, disappointing for Rumbas because it was an excellent opportunity. He did hit it well, and with a little luck would have put it on goal, but a powerful run down the right side initially by Lawrence to cut the ball back across. There's Rumbas. He gets a hold of it well, but in trying to get so much power on it, he puts it over the bar. Out at midfield here, we have another cramp setting in for a St. Pete player, and Bill Fortner there, who's done a very workmanlike job playing in the defense for the St. Pete team. That's just dehydration and the heat taking its effect. Here's that last chance again. You see how well Lawrence fights off the defenders. He's a strong guy. He got the arm out there, and he's able to cut the ball back to a dangerous area. A powerful shot, but not on target.
Here's Rumbas. Looks deep for Karagiannis. Karagiannis coming on here in the second half as a substitute. Here's Karagiannis, works his way free, plays it far post. Lignos heading it in, and we're tied. John Lignos ties it up late here in the second half.
Well, some relief there for the bench of the New York Greek American Atlas. Lignos at the right place at the right time. We've talked about him coming forward more often out of his midfield spot. And there he did, and when got on the end of a cross from Karagiannis, who was the substitute for the New York Greek American Atlas. And obviously, it works out to have been an intelligent move by Peter Christoforidis, the coach of the New York Greek Americans. He was dangerous just about every time he was able to get the ball. And this time, he wins the ball down in the corner. He's in a tussle here. They're using their arms quite a bit, a little bit forgiven by the official, perhaps. He lifts the ball all the way to the far post. Radovic elects not to go all the way there, and then is beaten at the near post. Phillips is beaten at the near post by Lignos' head ball. Head balls are difficult to read. He was close in, and he just hits it with his head and blasted past him on the near side.
So we're tied now with about 9 minutes left on the clock here. The goal by Lignos, and Karagiannis setting it up with a nice cross after some good work to get free of Andrew Daxon. Now down at the other end, a corner kick for St. Pete, and Valenti to take it. Played a short one, looking for Eichhorst to flick it back on. It comes to Valenti again. And a bicycle kick attempt there by Patopoulos goes short and wide.
Really, we have here a sign, perhaps, of an older, more experienced team. Even though they haven't had the majority of the play, still very much in the game with that goal.
Here's a chance for number 7, George Kazuma. He comes wide to the right side, almost to the end line, chipping it far post. Up in the air goes the goalkeeper, but prior to getting there, a pushing foul called against New York.
Come on, BL, stay strong now.
And it will be a free kick for St. Petersburg Kickers. Paul and I got the only goal of the game so far for St. Pete, and that was on a free kick in the 48th minute. And it took until the 80th minute, just moments ago, for John Lignos to equalize. Here's Jim Knowles, former Canadian national team player. Cross for Phillips. High, towering kick. Comes down into midfield. And here's Rumbas quickly playing it ahead to Lignos. And you see the New York team coming to life now, as they've certainly been inspired by that equalizing goal.
And I think the St. Petersburg Kickers at this point have to be thinking about some of those chances that they had earlier when they were dominating and were not able to convert. It wouldn't have made a difference had they not given up this one, but now they wish they'd have had those chances back.
Valenti ahead for Patopoulos, but the defender, number 2 for New York, Apostolidis, is there to work it to Radovic. Now here's Rumbas, who has emerged as a far more dominant figure in the second half for New York than in the first. He sort of has done the job for them that Valenti did for St. Petersburg in the first half of play.
I think we need to mention right now also, should this game finish tied up, as we're getting into the last 6-7 minutes here, probably 8 minutes at the most with the injury time. If the game remains tied after regulation time, we will have 30 minutes of overtime soccer, which is not sudden death. It would be 15 minutes each way. If they're still tied after that, we go to the penalty kick tiebreaker.
Here's Craig Fawcett. Looks far post, but this will sail out of play now. He's got that wind behind him, and you saw it there. Carry the ball over the end line for goal kick New York. So the overtime would be 2 15-minute halves, non-sudden death, followed by penalty kicks. So we are going strictly by FIFA rules today all the way down the line.
Exactly. 2 substitutions maximum. Once a player leaves the game, he's done for the day. He cannot re-enter the game.
We've had only 1 substitution so far, and it turned out to be a rather fortuitous one for New York as Karagiannis came in to replace Castillo in the second half and ended up setting up the goal moments ago by Lignos. Here's John Shannon for New York. Plays it up the left side. Rumbas there. Up front he has Lawrence, and here's Lignos trying to dribble his way through traffic. Fawcett staying with him, but Lignos persevering. And Fawcett will finally take it back toward his own end. Kind of a blind back heel there. Here's a chance for New York as it comes into open space. On the right side, Shannon trying to turn it around. He does. Left foot shot, blocked by Fortner, and now it's cleared back out by St. Petersburg. But New York obviously is turning things on offensively here as time is running down.
That whole series, again, resulted from some work by Karagiannis down that left side. He's been a real catalyst for their attack.
Here's Valente with Polonais and Woolley. Nice dribble. Still on it is Valente. Over to Woolley, and the shot handled by Radovich, but a nice bit of work there by Valente just to stay with it and get it across to Woolley.
And Radovich keeps his team in here. There's Valente maneuvering well at the last second. It's tackled away, but there's Woolley striking the ball low and hard. Radovich diving, and that's really a top save there.
1-1 on the clock here, 4 minutes, but there's about 6, we think, in regulation. Here's Polonais. Down the left side, Polonais from Trinidad. Goes to Erskine College in South Carolina. Here's Woolley. Whacks away at it. Shannon is there with the block and then comes out with it.
Well, not a lot of subtlety about Woolley's game. He just puts his head down and he goes, and obviously it's been successful for him. That time, though, he was blocked.
Karagiannis at the far side, and the throw-in will go to New York's favor here with time running down. And, you mentioned that we should watch out for the craftiness of this New York team, Ty. Not that the age factor doesn't come into it. It does, and St. Petersburg is a younger team, but conservation of energy is so important, and the experience factor comes in there. So New York does not seem to be as fatigued as you might think they would be at this point.
Well, we haven't seen any of their players yet go down with the cramp, whereas we have seen 2 of the St. Petersburg team players go down with the cramp. So it is, there is a certain art to playing in difficult conditions and perhaps conserving your energy, letting the ball do a little more of the work. In fact, even letting the opposition have more of the play.
We are all grateful for the breeze that came up. If you were with us at kickoff time, it was 103 degrees on the field, but this breeze that came up almost from the beginning of the game on has cooled things considerably.
And you have to wonder, though, how much of that breeze is really reaching the guys right down on field level as it is a bit recessed, the field level, as opposed to up where the flags are flying, and you can see that they're getting a strong breeze.
Long kick by Radovich, sent back the other way by Jim Knowles. Headed back again by New York. Knowles up in the air missing it, and he also set a pick of sorts on Al Lawrence, but it went by without an obstruction call.
That's a very physical play by Knowles, and that's what you look for in a central defender. He needs to be able to sort things out and really strike some fear into the opposing team's attackers.
Luis Gonzalez looking for Rumbas. Oh, and a good just last-second tackle there by Andy Daxon. Place it back to his teammate Fortner, who's tackled by Lawrence, and that'll be a foul against New York, and Fortner stays down, clutching his right leg, and we're going to get a yellow card here, our first of the game, to Al Lawrence of New York for bringing down Fortner. Bill Fortner, local defender from here in St. Louis, from Clemson University, pulling himself up after this that resulted in a yellow card.
First a tackle by Daxon, Andy Daxon, very solid tackle. He got the ball, and then afterwards, frustration here is Lawrence. He gets in there, Fortner wins the ball. Lawrence gets there late and gets a strong piece of Fortner, and that's sufficient, according to the official, for a yellow card, a warning that any more of that type of tackle, and you'll be given your marching orders, which is a red card.
1-1, and the clock is frozen here now at 2 minutes, meaning we're on the referee's watch. Shot from outside. That was tipped and it goes out of play, and it will come corner kick now for St. Petersburg. And I can't think of a more opportune time for them to get a dead ball chance.
This will probably be their last chance to try and win it in regulation time.
Valenti with the corner. Valenti, who has taken all the corner kicks, again sets it down at the far side. Into the middle, bending toward goal. Not a bad kick, a little too much on it. And battling to keep it in is Fawcett.
The linesman flag was up that the ball had gone out before he retrieved it.
Late whistle by the referee on the field. First having to pick out that linesman's flag on the other side. Finally did. So now it's New York ball. We keep an eye on the ball and an eye on the referee, who has official time. And should no one score here in the next minute or so, we will go to overtime. Here's Lawrence. Lawrence at center. Lawrence down the right side. Good work there by Fortner. Forces it out near side, and the throw in now for New York. Lawrence plays it to open space. Rumbas quickly closes that space. Nice move to the left, back to the right. The shot, and Phillips goes upstairs to bring it in. But Rumbas showing some nice skill there on the ball, and then getting away a pretty good shot.
And this one he got on goal. Here he is working out of the midfield. A nice, quick footwork move. Gets him in the open. Then he splits two defenders with the shot, and the shot dipping and swerving somewhat. Phillips handling it well, though.
New York controlling the ball in their half of the field. 1-1 the score. This is Apostolidis. Crosses the halfway line. Sends a pass up intended for Kazunas. Taken away by Knowles. Plays it up for Fortner. And St. Petersburg just looking to clear it now up the field, and they get it up for...
That's fatigue there.
Woolley, you can see he stumbled a little bit.
Normally, Woolley, he'd take that one right into the box because that's what he lives for, to make goals and break through. This one, he took his eye off of it, a little bit of fatigue. His one leg looked to buckle on him somewhat, and it broke down.
John Shannon, along with Carl Christian. Now they'll work it right side. Here's Apostolidis. Has some running room on the right side. Chips it into the box. Looking for Lawrence. Sails over his head. Up steps Daxon. He'll send it back the other way. Now perhaps another chance here for St. Petersburg. Woolley and Paulinet. Paulinet has it at the edge of the 18-yard box. Comes into the penalty area now. Paulinet trying to put a move on the defense. It's cleared. And Shannon works it out. There's the whistle. And that's the end of regulation here in St. Louis. And we are tied and headed to 2 15-minute overtime periods. It's St. Petersburg Kickers 1, New York Greek Atlas 1 in the Senior National Championship. And we'll be back with overtime in just a moment.
The Easton Sports Arena is back on Score, bringing you more in-depth interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. I'm Jim Darby, inviting you to join me every Sunday as we meet the people who are making sports headlines and sports history and find out the secret of their success. Don't miss Easton Sports Arena, Sundays at 9:30 Eastern, right here on the Sports Fans Network, FNN Score.
Welcome back to the St. Louis Soccer Park. We are in overtime, the first of 2 15-minute overtime halves, as this game is tied 1-1. The New York Greek American Atlas side and the St. Petersburg Datagraphic Kickers, all tied up 1-1 in this Senior National Championship game.
And we see one change already. St. Petersburg Kickers have brought on another Daxon brother, as if there weren't enough of them, and that's Kevin Daxon. He's playing wide in the right midfield, and he has come on for Siegfried Eichhorst, number 7, who was playing about the same position in the first 90 minutes.
So Eichhorst, the senior statesman, if you will, at 34 years of age for St. Petersburg, comes off. That's the first change we've seen in the game for St. Pete. Now a corner kick. Ball into the box, rejected. Back it comes to Fotopoulos, and now it's cleared upfield. Lawrence chasing it down. Hits the back of the head of Andrew Daxon. And now the kickers with it. They wear the white jerseys, and they're defending the net to our left, attacking left to right. New York in the red and blue, defending the net to our right, attacking right to left. We're in overtime. It is not sudden death. We'll play 2 15-minute overtime halves as Dragan Radovic again is forced to come way out to the top of the box, but does a good job again.
No problem at all for him. A little bit of a problem for him initially was Woolley busting through at the top of the box, and Radovic not able to hold the ball, but then he chased it out and did very well with it.
Now throw in New York. This is Vinny Misic, or Enko, as his name was given to him in Yugoslavia. Taken by Pat Daxon. Now it comes to Valenti, the skillful midfielder for St. Petersburg. Here's Valenti, working his way, and then the pass a little behind Fotopoulos. Kazonis takes it back. Outside of his right foot up to Al Lawrence. Lawrence trying to keep it in play, does, but gives it back. Now here's Kevin Daxon, nice little move. He's got his right knee heavily braced, and he was listed as somewhat questionable for this game because of a knee sprain.
Well, if he tries to push the ball through the defender's leg again, he may have a brace on the other knee. Defenders don't like that. And will tend to take it out on the player that tries to do that.
Here's Apostolidis. Puts it to the far post side. Rumbus is good 10, 15 yards behind the ball as it bounces out. And this will be a goal kick now for Brett Phillips.
This may or may not be a first, but we have three brothers in there at the same time for the St. Petersburg Datagraphic Kickers, the Daxon brothers. What is a first is a telecast of this national final of the United States Senior Division, and at stake is the Budweiser Cup.
This is the 75th anniversary, and I hope we're here for the 76th anniversary, Ty. I want to push it beyond that.
That's great. I mean, when you think about it, the game in the United States, the game of soccer, does have a long tradition. This game here that we're seeing today has a tradition of 75 years. So there's been some great American players through the years that maybe haven't gotten the recognition that maybe they should have. And now we have television, which I think is a big plus as far as the game in the United States.
Here's Karagianis, key performer for New York in the second half as he set up the goal by Lignos that tied it up for New York after Polonais put St. Pete ahead 1-0.
There we saw the substitute with the knee brace there, Andrew Daxon. Not Andrew Daxon. I'm getting him confused already. Kevin Daxon. He had a chance to put that leg in on a tackle and withdrew it and ended up losing the tackle. So he's obviously mindful of the condition of his right knee.
Goal kick coming up for St. Petersburg. We're tied 1-1 in overtime at the St. Louis Soccer Park, and we'll be back after these messages.
My special guest today is Miss Chiquita. Welcome, Chiquita.
Thank you, Dick.
You know, you're one of the few musical giants who've never appeared on our show.
Well, my other career does come first. Growing the world's finest fruit takes a lot of time and attention.
So how about doing a medley of your hit right now?
I'd be honored. I'm Chiquita Banana, and I come to say bananas have to rise.
I'd give it a 98. It's got a good beat, and you can dance to it.
Chiquita, the first lady of fruit.
We're in overtime, in the first half of overtime. 10 minutes to go in this 15-minute frame. 1-1 the score. Pat Daxon for St. Petersburg. Ahead to his brother Kevin. Polonais gets a lucky bounce, but then a hard tackle by Christian knocks it free, and here's Rumbus.
A scoop pass to eliminate the defender.
Kazunis playing it up the left side. Here's Al Lawrence to the corner. Lawrence still after it, into the box. Goes down looking for a call. Daxon was there, Andy Daxon, but no whistle on the play. They're not going to give a penalty kick on that one, certainly not in overtime, and Phillips picks up and tosses up the middle of the field.
Well, Lawrence has looked stronger and stronger as the game has gone along, and here he is. Down in the left corner, he starts to burn his defender. Defender trying to step back in. They're both leaning in, and they lean enough into each other, and you could make an argument that perhaps he was fouled, but again, it's going to take more than that with so much at stake and with the late stage of this game already in overtime.
Daxon, that is Kevin, and he'll lose it. You know, thinking of brother combinations, and only one other situation comes to mind with three brothers on the same team, and that would be the Schmetzer boys up in the Pacific Northwest, who played with Seattle Outdoors and also in indoor soccer. Walter, Andy, and Brian Schmetzer, all on the same team, and the play-by-play announcer's nightmare when they're all on at the same time. Here's Jim Knowles, ahead to midfield for Polonais.
Well, what we're going to see here is a cat and mouse game. What it comes down to really here is which team makes the fatal error. You hate to see it end on a mistake. Both of these teams have worked very hard. All the players have certainly done a great job, acquitted of themselves very well, but it's going to come down to a mistake somewhere that's going to result in a goal. Or if we get the penalty kicks, it's going to come down to someone missing.
Pat Daxon over to Craig Fawcett. Fawcett now looking deep up the left side. Well-played pass. Here's the shot just on the outside of the post. George Fotopoulos dribbling through. Can't believe he missed. And in agony now, and I'm not sure if he's hurt. I think it's just disappointment, and it is.
Exactly.
As he had a chance to put them ahead here in overtime.
He was all the way through. He did not have a great angle, but he may not get a better chance than that.
Down at the other end, Al Lawrence gets the bounce. Continues on his way down the left side, and then Andy Daxon knocks it over the end line. This will be corner kick as we look at another angle on the replay. Here's Rumbas, number 10 for New York. Back out to Lignos. He has the only goal for Greek American Atlas. Looking far post and running onto it, I believe, is Shannon.
And a blindside run it was. He's in behind all the defenders, but he broke after the ball was kicked, so he's not offside. And unattended, Lignos, who showed a great ability to find players on the longer passes. He places the ball in behind the defender. Shannon's there. He does not make contact with his foot. It hits off his shin instead, and that's what puts it wide. But, you know, strong running by him, a well-timed run to keep him onside, and a well-delivered ball by Lignos to find him in behind the defender.
A brilliant pass to get it past the defender guarding that far post. And Lignos has shown us some things here in the second half as he equalized, and now here in overtime, a nice play to try and set up a teammate. Garth Polonais, who has the only goal for St. Pete, looking far post. And that one goes over the head of Woolley.
Those are good crosses. You see they're outswingers. They're curving in toward the attacking player so he can get more on the ball. So you see him deliberately put that big curve on the ball. Polonais did to get the ball into the box, but he's also the only player out there playing with a big bandage across his chin. And that goes back to in the later stages there of the second half, he was in a bit of a collision, tussle, and ended up getting an elbow across the chin.
Here's Joey Valenti. Again on the corner kick. Plays this one short, looking for Woolley. Comes back and whacking away at it is George Fotopoulos, kicking it out of play for goal kick for New York. Is that allowed? I guess it is for a goalkeeper. He can change that top, and he has, Radovich, it would seem.
Trying to freshen himself up a little bit.
Sean Shannon on the far side. Scooping it back for Apostolidis. He looked for Shannon again, but Shannon had gone to the inside, and the ball is knocked away and cleared back now for Brett Phillips. Andrew Daxon setting it for Valenti. Valenti played on the U.S. under-16 national team that went to the Soviet Union and China back in 85 and 86. We have an injured player, but meantime, Lawrence heads down the left side. Ball out. This will be New York ball, but first we have an injury in midfield. A New York player is down as Rumbas is given a round of applause by the gathered here at St. Louis. And we're set to resume again now with a goal kick. And again with Brett Phillips hurting a little bit. A fullback will take it. But another look at the injury.
Well, this is where it happened. Rumbas just barely winning the race to the ball and then coming through and catching the knee from Daxon is Rumbas. He goes down. I think he may have dramatized it somewhat to try and draw a stiffer penalty or a call against Daxon. Daxon did end up getting a yellow card for that infraction.
Here's Kevin Daxon trying to dribble the defender Christian, who had help from Gonzalez. Comes back up for Rumbas. He's brought down again, this time by Pat Daxon.
So same two guys. And I think they've probably had enough of each other by now.
And the restart in the New York half of midfield. Misic looking for Lawrence. That's headed back out. And now we get the whistle, and that's the end of the first half of overtime. We've played a 15-minute half, and we will play another 15-minute overtime half. We are still tied. New York 1, St. Petersburg 1 in this USSF Senior National Championship.
Tonight's forecast calls for something fresh. New Domino's Pan Pizza. With a 99-cent chance of precipitation. Just your time to try new Domino's Pan Pizza, because we'll throw in a 6-pack of Coca-Cola Classic for a cool 99 cents. Domino's Pizza. Nobody delivers better.
We're back at the St. Louis Soccer Park. Teams have changed ends, and we're about to start the second half of overtime. New York Greek American Atlas Soccer Club 1 and the St. Petersburg Data Graphics Kickers 1. Not sudden death again. We'll play a full 15-minute half here. Ball kicked out by Daxon, Andrew Daxon. And a restart here for New York. Al Lawrence played in the West Indies League in the New York area before joining Greek American Atlas. Foul deep in the corner there, and it's going to be against New York. So
it's a little pushing there.
St. Pete will get an opportunity to get it out of trouble, or at least out of that coffin corner. The breeze picking up here a little bit again as we are now a couple of hours into this thing for these players. Phillips picks up, tosses over to the left side. First time kick up the field for Woolley, and Woolley is called for the foul.
A little over-exuberant there, seeking out that pass, using his arms, everything. The ball played long down towards the corner. Woolley chasing it down. The defender, they're ahead of him, and Woolley trying to get a piece of the defender, and there's the call. He takes him to the turf, and it's a free kick for the New York Greek American Atlas.
New York with the ball now. They're wearing the red jerseys, navy shorts, white socks. Rumbas has it cleared away. Backtracking is John Shannon, a native of Long Island, New York. And Dragan Radovich with it. Not good distribution. Here's a steal. Kevin Daxon with it. Has Paulinet. Gets the shot away. Had some pace on it, but perhaps didn't use the players around him as well as he might have. Well, there was a lot of defenders back there, too, Ty.
It's tough to criticize a guy for shooting, and he does get some pretty good wood on this one. The ball taking off from his foot and swerving and dipping some, but not finding either corner.
Here's Lignos, the goal scorer today for New York, playing it back for Radovich. We're just a couple of minutes into the second half of overtime here at St. Louis. Daxon up in the air, couldn't get all of that one. Now here's Karagianis, trying to hold off the defender, gets it through for Rumbas. Rumbas on the run. And a weak shot. This will dribble toward goal. Phillips picks up. And some of Rumbas' teammates somewhat puzzled as to the nature of that shot. What were you trying to do there? Demo? Headed away by Gonzalez.
No, it's going to be
back up for Karagianis. Here's a chance, but a flag comes up. They'll call offside against New York as Karagianis played that ball into Lawrence in an offside position, and it will be St. Petersburg ball with 11:44 unofficially left in overtime. Lenny playing it back toward his own end.
They're going to have
here's Fortner.
Got kickoff for penalty kicks. And that's going to decide the game.
In midfield.
So we got to be out there quick.
Here's Lignos. Lignos to the middle of the field. And that's broken up again by this tenacious St. Petersburg defense that yielded only 12 goals in 37 games this year. Here's Valenti.
He's motoring again.
Up for Paulinet and almost made the turn, but the defender back there, Christian, able to clear it. Back comes Andy Daxon. Daxon playing it ahead for Paulinet. Paulinet's removed that big padding off his face. Here he gets a return pass. Paulinet goes deep, trying to keep it in the penalty box. Does, but it is cleared back for Radovich, and New York has possession again.
Radovich seeing the armband there. He is the captain for the Greek-American Atlas from New York. The captain, Jim Knowles, for the St. Petersburg Datagraphic Kicker. Kicker's number 5 playing in the center of the defense here. The first time we've seen a New York player go down with the effects of a cramp. I'm surprised we haven't seen more players, really.
A foul in midfield. We may be getting set for a substitution here for Datagraphics kickers as we see Gordon Singleton getting set to come on. Meantime, play goes on. Here is Fotopoulos to Craig Fawcett. Fawcett playing it back to Fortner. Now they'll go right side. Andy Daxon with it. To the left, a little blindly and a little too far ahead of Fortner, but he'll step up to it. Now it's Fawcett. Fawcett into the corner. One man back there with him. Trying to knock it past number 2. That's Apostolidis comes out of play, and this will be a throw in. And we will have the substitution now as number 16 will come in for Datagraphics, Gordon Singleton. We will break here with a little over 9 minutes left in overtime. St. Petersburg 1, New York 1. We'll return to St. Louis in a moment.
Beechwood aged for the taste so crisp and clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
Randy Hunt back with Ty Keogh at the St. Louis Soccer Park. 1-1 the score. We're in the second half of overtime. We have had the substitution with Gordon Singleton coming in to replace Lee Woolley. And now St. Petersburg with the ball. Edge of the box, ball into the penalty area on the shot, handled by Radovich. And the New York goalkeeper will settle it as number 2, Pat Daxon, got a pretty decent shot away there.
Well, coming down the right side here, a nifty little move first and then getting the cross in, but Radovich cuts it right out. Here we see he just shoves it through the defender's legs, and he's going to cross it into the box, but really no St. Pete players nearby to be able to try and connect with that, and Radovich does his job.
New York picking up the loose ball in midfield. Gonzalez weaving his way out of traffic. Here's Al Lawrence. Nice move to elude the tackle there from Jim Knowles. Now springing Karagiannis free, no offside, and the shot blocked and knocked down by Brett Phillips. And now a whistle after the fact, and a foul will go against Karagiannis. And Karagiannis is down as if to indicate that he's the one who's hurt, but it will be fouled against New York.
But an opportunity here, not converted. The ball played through to Karagiannis, and there's no offside. Number 4, the defender for St. Pete, was caught back, but Phillips does very well. He comes out, he cuts the angle, and he's able to smother that shot and push it aside. Then you have the contact just afterwards. Karagiannis, who we've been watching, is a dangerous player, but he's also a player that uses his arms excessively, many times to his advantage, but also he ends up aggravating his opponents, and sometimes it develops into something like that.
Andy Daxon has been yellow carded here, but it is St. Petersburg ball. Obviously something he said to either Karagiannis or the official after Karagiannis seemed to add some dramatics to minor contact there.
So we see the 2 Daxons that are playing in back each have a yellow card. Both Andy and Patrick have a yellow card, so we've got to wait and see.
What's wrong with Kevin?
Yeah, what's wrong with Kevin? Really?
Here's John Lignos. Ahead to Rambas. Rambas looking for Karagiannis, who has really been impressive since coming in early in the second half. Broken up. Now Fidopoulos. Ahead to Valenti. Tries to vault past the defender. Comes back to Fidopoulos. He's tripped up, but play goes on. They rule advantage. Here's Paulinet. Paulinet plays it to the right side. Singleton trying to get it back through to Paulinet. Almost did, but Lignos, who did a good job to hustle back out of midfield to assume a defensive position, kicks it out. And he kicked it out off of Singleton, so it will be New York ball coming back in. And now with 5:35 unofficially left in overtime. We're still tied 1-1. Maybe penalty kicks this afternoon. Well, Ty Keogh, it is crunch time for both these teams, down to the final 5 minutes of overtime, and nobody wants to have a championship particularly decided on penalty kicks. It's so unpredictable and perhaps in some ways unfair.
Really. It doesn't necessarily indicate who the best team was. It tells you who the best penalty kick takers are, but they have to decide this somehow. In either event, there are going to be some awful tired Cowboys after this one. A full 90 minutes first, and then another 30 minutes of overtime. Or on this kind of day, it's got to take its toll, and then penalty kicks after that.
Here's a break for New York. Cross into the box. Al Lawrence looking for it, but it is way too far and high. And that will come back. St. Petersburg ball as Carl Christian got wide on the left side and tried to scoop that one over for his big, tall teammate Lawrence. And now under 4 minutes unofficially. Phillips with it now in the box. And he will pick it up as Lawrence challenges him somewhat. Good kick. Comes down to the wrong player, however. Christian sending it back the ball. Apostolides with it. He'll send it up the right side, and this will bounce all the way out of play along the near side for throw-in St. Petersburg, and now the clock stops again with 2 minutes remaining, unofficially in overtime. Stay with us. If it's tied after this overtime period, we will go to the penalty kicks. Singleton heading it into the box, but he felt Paulinet was a lot closer to the play than he was. Picked up routinely by Radovich and now sent back the other way. Here's a steal again. Fortner, but he hits it to the opposition. Rumbas picking it up. Here's Dimo Rumbas. And a foul called against St. Petersburg. So now New York able to set up somewhat. Not really in free kick range at this point. A good 40 yards out. But an opportunity to back St. Pete into the box just a little bit. The St. Petersburg defense lining up now at the top of the 18-yard box. Here's Rumba, steps into the shot ball, and indeed does shoot it, but misses by 12 yards wide to the left, and this will be a goal kick for St. Petersburg. Time running down now, a little more than a minute left in overtime. Jim Knowles setting it down.
There will be some injury time. Rumbas was down momentarily when he had that confrontation with one of the Daxons. I guess it was Patrick.
Here's Pat Daxon playing it ahead. Here's a chance for Singleton. Shoots, and he scores! New York claiming there was an offside, but no flag is up. The goal is good, and St. Petersburg is seconds away from the national championship.
And we'll have to see what the camera tells us. When I looked, which was not immediately, he appeared to be in an offside position. But what counts is where he is when the ball is struck. So here's the replay. The ball is struck, but we're seeing it after. When he does receive it, he's behind all the defenders. But the important consideration, like I said, is where he was when the ball was first hit. He converted it well, got it in underneath Radovic and low into the goal. And it's going to stand up. The New York team still protesting, but the ball played in. And it's a real close one. And there's no way of telling unless you have an angle where you see both the ball being played and the player breaking. The New York team still protesting over on the far side, but nonetheless, Singleton appears to have scored the game-winning goal in a national championship.
There's the head coach of the Datagraphics St. Petersburg Kickers, Steve Gogus, who's a manager of a country club in St. Petersburg, but I don't think anything that's happened there recently can match with the thrill that he's experiencing right now. Short of a hole-in-one, and I don't know if that's even close. You dedicate a year of your life like he has in the last year to this team. To see them on the verge of a championship must be a delight.
Well, and these are at least 11 guys.
Here's Lignos with a chance, back across, and it's kicked out, and New York almost tied it right back up right there.
That's about as close as you can get, because Lignos had broke through, and he had teammates in the box there, but they were not.
Crossbar?
That was cleared off the line.
And the game is over. The whistle sounds, and it's over. And the Datagraphics Kickers from St. Petersburg, Florida, are the new USSF 1989 National Senior Champions.
Celebration there, a hard-fought game, 90 minutes plus 30 minutes of overtime in extreme heat conditions. These guys fought all the way. They end up with the winning goal with only a few seconds really left on the clock.
A happy group from Florida as they win the 1989 National Championship. Final score in overtime. St. Petersburg 2 and New York 1. We'll be back at the St. Louis Soccer Park to wrap up after this.
I'm Robert Stack. I'm proud to know Ronald Reagan as a friend and as a great president. I would like you to join me in commemorating 8 years of the Ronald Reagan presidency. Now you can have this commemorative medallion, a permanent tribute to the Ronald Reagan era of American history at the official issue price of $10. His genuine affection for our country and her people has made Ronald Reagan one of the most popular and best-loved presidents. This medallion has been engraved in exacting detail, is precision minted in solid pewter. It's the size of a silver dollar and is layered in 24-karat gold and offered for a limited time. It's a lasting tribute to this great leader and a way to preserve this period of American history for yourself and your children.
Order your Ronald Reagan commemorative medallions today for yourself or as a gift. This valuable collector's issue is sure to be treasured for years to come. Pay the $10 issue price plus $2 each for delivery. There is a limit of 3 medallions per order. Call this toll-free number now.
The victorious St. Petersburg, Florida Kickers, sponsored by Datagraphics, are the 1989 U.S. National Senior Champions. Here at St. Louis Soccer Park today, they defeated the New York Greek American Atlas Soccer Club by a final score of 2-1 in overtime, playing under very difficult conditions early on when the heat was over 100 degrees, and a great national final between the
Tonight, at the final score, the Yankees trying to...
We have a couple of gentlemen with us from the area, from St. Petersburg. They were part of the Kickers squad who went to St. Louis and came home with a national title. I want to welcome Jim DeNoble and Gordon Singleton to our program. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming here. Let me start off, first of all, with you, Jim, player coach. You described to me beforehand what exactly the title was, and it was too long a name for me to remember. So tell us exactly what title you won.
Well, it's the United States Soccer Federation National Championship. And this is the Open Cup, which is open to any team in the United States, both professional and amateur. We're being an amateur team, fully amateur, but the team we beat in the semifinals, Chicago, had a number of professionals, and I think the team from New York, the Greek Americans, had a total of 9 former professionals or professionals.
So the team you won in the finals, Gordon, I guess had a lot more experience on you. You were more of a youth-oriented team that hit the right streak at the right time, right?
They had, like Jimmy say, nine professionals, including, I believe, 3 or 4 what did play for World Cup teams.
Is that right?
With Yugoslavia and some Greek and Poland, some Greek teams. So it wasn't maybe our youth overtook in the game, but their experience was hard to play by. But we tried our best and we came on top.
We're going to get a chance in a little while to see some of your action in regulation. You ended up being the hero in overtime. We'll see that also a little bit later on. In fact, here is some of the action. There's your coach right there, Steve Gogus. as this is action just in the first half, and there's your first goal. Can you talk about that?
Sure, that was Garth Poliani. Garth currently goes to Erskine College. He hit a direct kick from 30 yards out and was a blistering shot. Just nicked the outside of the wall, a little bit of a deflection, and that put us up 1-0. That was about 10 minutes into the second half. And again, I think they're going to show it again. That's Joey Valenti, walks over the ball, and Garth just hits a blistering shot. Keeper never had a chance, right in the back of the corner.
Now, what was it like going against the team, and we're going to get a chance to see New York's only goal? I guess in the semifinals and the finals, despite having all that experience, you guys had a lot of confidence going up against these guys.
Yeah, we did.
When we got into St. Louis, we first got off the plane, they were asking why we were here. And